In our gospel this afternoon, we hear a short passage from the Sermon on the Mount. And remember, the Sermon on the Mount gives the Beatitudes, it gives us the Our Father, all sorts of different teachings. In this case, two short wisdom teachings. And wisdom teachings, it's kind of like Benjamin Franklin's sayings, a stitch in time saves nine, things like that. What's the first wisdom teaching? You're the salt of the earth. But if you become insipid, then you'll be tossed out into the path. Actually, in the time of Jesus, if salt lost its flavor, it would be tossed outside into the path in front of the house, the roadway, because these were not paved in any way. This would keep the dust down. But what Jesus is saying, you've got to be the zest of life. You've got to make the difference. That when you're talking with your friends, instead of just going on with the gossip, you've got to say something that changes the topic. That you have to be the person who, even when things are going very poorly, can see the goodness that can come from it. People of hope. Because that's what we need now. People who stand out. People who give us the possibility of dreaming that something good is coming. And then the same thing, you're the light of the world. That you should set your lamp on a lampstand. Now, what's very, very, very odd, 2 chapters from now, Jesus says when you do a good deed, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Do it in secret. And here he says, do it so that everybody can see it. So which is it? And folks, you know me well enough by now. When I say which is it, what's the answer? Yes, both of them. It depends on the motivation. If I am doing it to be thought well of by others, then I probably shouldn't do it, because it's all about me. Even if it's a good action, it's still for my fame, for people to think well of me. But if I'm doing it to serve the other, and in fact, even if I do it, people might think poorly of me, but I know that person needs my attention, then I do it, and I even let others see. Remember when Pope John Paul II was shot? When he recovered, a while after, he visited the man who tried to kill him in prison and forgave him. At first glance, I was a little disappointed. I said, why did he invite those TV cameras in? Is he just doing it for show? But then I realized he was doing it for example. There's so many of us that need to forgive others that he had to give the example of being willing to forgive the person who tried to kill him, to say that it is possible to forgive others. Now, one thing about forgiving others. About a week ago, I read it in a writing on St. Ignatius Loyola, which to hear a Franciscan quoting a Jesuit doesn't happen often. So what does St. Ignatius say? If you're not able to forgive today, then you should pray to God to desire to forgive. And if you're not ready to desire to forgive today, then you should pray to God for the desire to have the desire to forgive. And sometimes it takes a lifetime, sometimes it takes till then. But as long as we're trying and we continue working at it, it's all God asks. So you are the salt of the earth. When you leave this chapel today, big smile on your face, great courtesy in the parking lot, let everybody know that something really special has happened. I remember hearing a speaker, Professor Hinojosa, and he said when people leave Mass, they should leave Mass like 6-year-olds leaving kindergarten for the break. Did you ever see them running out the front door of the church, filled with excitement? That's what people should see in us. And preferably not excitement just because we got it over with. Thank God he's finished with his homily. But excitement because something really good happened to us here.